Most commander decks give opponents damage. This one gives them paperwork, cursed artifacts, and creatures that actively prevent them from playing the game. Welcome to the Jank command. This is Blim Comedic Genius, a Rakdos gift deck where every present is suspicious and the return policy is combat damage. Whenever Blim deals combat damage to a player, we give that player a permanent we control. Then they lose life and discard cards for every permanent they own but do not control. One donated card causes 1 life loss and 1 discard. Repeated attacks turn our unwanted permanents into an escalating punishment engine. Blim changes control, not ownership. Cards that began in our deck remain owned by us after donation, so they count toward his penalty. Tokens are owned by the player who created them, which makes certain token gifts less useful. The deck is upper bracket 3, disruptive and dangerous, but dependent on combat and deliberately awkward cards. Whispersilk Cloak makes Blim unblockable and protects him. Shizo gives fear, while Rogue's Passage guarantees a route through. Access Tunnel works because Blim has printed Power 4. Lightning Greaves supplies haste and protection. Bolt Bend and Imp's Mischief redirect removal, while Malakir Rebirth, Undying Malice, and Supernatural Stamina return him after destruction. Grid Monitor and Steel Golem prevent their controller from casting creature spells. Rust Elemental demands an artifact sacrifice or begins eating its controller. Eater of Days skips 2 turns when it enters, so we cast it first and donate the enormous body afterward. Leveler exiles our library on entry, making it the riskiest gift. Use it only when we can donate immediately and win before drawing a card. Abyssal Persecutor prevents its controller from winning. Donate it to the leading opponent, then remove it only when convenient. Archfiend of the Dross arrives with oil counters and makes its controller lose when the last one disappears. Master of the Feast gives opponents cards, while Demonic Taskmaster forces creature sacrifices. Rotting Regissor demands discards and supplies a huge attacker before donation. Bronze Bombshell deals 7 damage when an opponent controls it, so Blim turns a combat hit into an immediate explosion. Treacherous Pit Dweller returns under an opponent's control after dying. Priest of the Blood Rite leaves behind a demon but starts draining its controller. Plague Reaver forces sacrifices and can change sides through its own ability. Demonic Pact provides 3 excellent modes before its fatal final clause. Use the benefits, then donate it, and let the new controller face the remaining choice. Captive Audience enters under an opponent's control and offers 3 increasingly awful chapters. Aggressive Mining prevents its controller from playing lands. Immortal Coil replaces damage with Graveyard Exile and becomes lethal when that graveyard is empty. Lix Mastery gives its controller hexproof, prevents them from losing, and converts lost life into sacrificed resources. If it leaves the battlefield, that player loses the game. We can target our own hexproof permanent with Blim, donate it, then eventually remove it with Feed the Swarm or Chaos Warp. This line is dramatic, expensive, and extremely interruptible, which makes it perfect jank. Humble Defector draws 2 cards before changing sides. Xantia begins under an opponent's control and lets the table pay to draw cards while damaging her controller. Sleeper Agent drains its controller. Bucknard's Everfull Purse produces treasure before moving around the table. Jinxed Idol can be donated with Blim or passed by sacrificing one of our expendable creatures. Goblin Spymaster gives opponents goblins that must attack. Card your goads opposing creatures and disrupt Decorum goads almost everything. Rite of the Raging Storm creates a hasty attacker for each player that cannot attack us. Varchuld creates survivors for opponents, then collects them when she leaves. Assault Suit lets other players borrow a creature without sacrificing it. Spiteful Visions makes everyone draw more and punishes every draw. Stormfist Crusader adds cards and life loss each upkeep. Tainted Remedy changes opposing life gain into life loss, particularly punishing the wrong side of combat rewards. Trespasser's Curse drains opponents for building creatures. Mayhem Devil and Havoc Jester reward the sacrifices our awkward permanents encourage. Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Rakdos Signet Talisman of Indulgence, and Felwar Stone accelerate the plan. Sign in Blood, Night's Whisper, Read the Bones, Theater of Horrors, Jixian Puppeteer, and Bloodveil Purveyor keep cards moving. The deck intentionally plays bad permanents, so reliable mana and draw prevent the joke from becoming unplayable. Terminate and Bedevil remove creatures, planeswalkers, and artifacts. Chaos Warp handles any permanent and is especially important for removing a donated Lix Mastery. Feed the Swarm answers enchantments, while Rakdos Charm handles graveyards, artifacts, or token armies. Blasphemous Act resets a creature-heavy table after our gifts have caused enough trouble. The normal victory is repeated Blim damage. Each gift increases future life loss and discard, while the permanent itself restricts its new controller. Bronze Bombshell provides burst damage, Archfiend and Demonic Pact create deadlines, and Lix Mastery threatens an instant loss when removed. Sower of Discord links two dangerous opponents, so damage to one hurts the other. The deck contains oppressive-looking individual cards, but its engine requires a 4-mana commander to connect in combat repeatedly. It has no premium tutors, competitive fast mana, or compact infinite combo. Opponents can block Blim, remove donated permanents, or turn our own symmetrical effects against us. That places it in upper bracket 3. Blim proves that Commander is not about the value of the gift. It is about the expression on someone's face when they unwrap Grid Monitor. The complete deck will be available on Moxfield. Subscribe to the Jank Command for obscure commanders, strange synergies, and presents you should never accept.